From leather helmets to digital playbooks, every era of the NFL has produced its own legends. Players who didn't just dominate their time, but defined it. They were the standard bearers, the record setters, the faces that altered the game forever. These are the players who defined their generations, the greatest to ever play the game. Red Grange, founding years. Before the NFL was a household name, it was Red Grange, the galloping ghost, that would give it one. Born Harold Edward Grange in 1903, he electrified crowds at the University of Illinois with a blend of speed, grace, and open field vision that defied his era. In 1924, he famously scored 4 touchdowns in 12 minutes against Michigan, a performance that made headlines nationwide and turned him into football's first true superstar. When Grange turned pro in 1925, joining George Halas's Chicago Bears, it was a seismic moment for the league. His contract, worth $100,000 plus a share of gate receipts, was staggering when most players earned between $50 to $100 per game. On a relentless barnstorming tour in the winter of 1925, Grange played 19 games in 67 days, drawing over 500,000 fans and transforming the Bears into a national sensation. For the first time, professional football was profitable and respected. Statistically, his career numbers, 2,616 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns over 7 seasons, don't capture his full impact. His greatest contribution came off the field. He legitimized the NFL. Fans flocked to see him. Newspapers covered his every move, and promoters realized that pro football could stand alongside baseball and boxing as a major sport. Sammy Baugh, birth of the quarterback. When Sammy Baugh arrived in the NFL in 1937, football was still a grinded-out, run-first sport. By the time he retired in 1952, he had redefined it. Known as Slinging Sammy, Baugh's arm transformed the forward pass from a novelty into a cornerstone of the game. Drafted 6th overall by the Washington Redskins, the rookie from TCU made an instant impact, throwing 1,127 yards and 11 touchdowns, leading the Redskins to the NFL championship. Over his 16-year career, Baugh set 13 NFL records, including single-season marks for passing, punting, and interceptions, all in the same year, 1943. He led the league in completion percentage 8 times and finished with 21,886 passing yards and 187 touchdowns, placing him well above all other quarterbacks of his time. Financially, Baugh was among the highest-paid players of his time. When he signed with Washington in 1937, he earned $8,000 per year, nearly 10 times the league average salary. By the 1940s, his pay rose to around $15,000 annually, rivaling baseball stars and signaling the growing economic power of the NFL. Otto Graham, color barrier. Playing for the Cleveland Browns from 1946 to 1955, Graham set a standard of excellence that remains almost mythical. In 10 seasons, he led his team to the championship game every single year, winning 7 titles, 4 in the All-American Football Conference and 3 in the NFL. A former basketball All-American from Northwestern, Graham was signed by Browns coach Paul Brown for $7,500 per year in 1946. By the early 1950s, he was making around $25,000 annually, making him one of the highest-paid players in professional football. His salary reflected not just talent, but reliability. He was the prototype franchise quarterback before the term even existed. Statistically, Graham's numbers are staggering for his era. 23,584 passing yards, 174 touchdowns, and a career passer rating of 86.6. He led the league in passing 5 times, completion percentage 4 times, and yards per attempt 7 times, all while commanding an offense built on precision, timing, and discipline. But numbers can't fully define his dominance. Graham was 57-13-1 in regular season NFL play, a winning percentage of .814 that has never been equaled. He was a calm field general who embodied Paul Brown's system of structure, preparation, and ruthless efficiency. When Otto Graham retired in 1955 after leading Cleveland to yet another championship, he walked away on top, literally and figuratively. He wasn't flashy, but he was flawless. The quarterback who taught the NFL that greatness is measured not in moments, but in wins. Jim Brown, AFL Super Bowl era. When Jim Brown stepped onto an NFL field in 1957, The game bent around him. A two-sport star from Syracuse, dominant in both football and lacrosse, he brought a blend of power, speed, and fury that had never been seen before. In just 9 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, he led the league in rushing 8 times, earned 3 MVP awards, 1957, 1958, 1965, and became the face of football's rise in the television age. Statistically, his career remains breathtaking. 12,312 rushing yards, 106 rushing touchdowns, and an average of 5.2 yards per carry, all accomplished in an era of 12 and 14-game seasons. He retired as the NFL's all-time leader in rushing yards, touchdowns, and total yardage. What set him apart wasn't just production, it was presence. Defenders spoke of him with awe. He never ran out of bounds, never showed weakness, and treated every carry like a test of will. Brown retired abruptly at age 29, walking away to pursue acting at the height of his career, and still at the top of the record books. Jim Brown wasn't just the best player of his era, he was the standard by which every running back after him is measured. Terry Bradshaw, post-merger. When Terry Bradshaw joined the Pittsburgh Steelers as the first overall pick in the 1970 NFL Draft, he entered a franchise defined by losing. A decade later, he turned them into a dynasty. With his cannon arm, fearless demeanor, and a knack for performing under pressure, Bradshaw became the face and the voice of the Steel Curtain era, leading the Steelers to 4 Super Bowl victories, 9, 10, 13, 14, in 6 years. At first, success didn't come easy. Bradshaw threw 46 interceptions in his first 2 seasons, often clashing with coach Chuck Noll. But by the mid-1970s, surrounded by legends like Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and that ferocious defense, Bradshaw matured into a championship quarterback. From 1974 to 1979, he guided Pittsburgh to a 67-25 record, earning 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 13-14, and the 1978 NFL MVP award after passing for 2,915 yards and 28 touchdowns, elite numbers for the era. Joe Montana, offenses emerge. When Joe Montana took the field, chaos turned to calm. Drafted in the 3rd round of the 1979 NFL Draft by the San Francisco 49ers, Montana became the architect of one of the greatest dynasties in sports history. His precision, poise, and icy composure in the clutch earned him the nickname Joe Cool, and 4 Super Bowl titles, 16, 19, 23, 24, cemented his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Under head coach Bill Walsh's West Coast offense, Montana revolutionized the passing game. He led the league in completion percentage 5 times, won 2 NFL MVP awards in 1989 and 1990, and retired with 40,551 passing yards, 273 touchdowns, and a 92.3 passer rating, the best in NFL history at the time. His ability to execute surgical drives, most famously the 92-yard march, capped by the catch in the 1981 NFC Championship, defined what it meant to be clutch. More than numbers, Montana's greatness lived in moments. The calm stare before a comeback, the perfect spiral in the biggest game, the confidence that erased doubt. He was the embodiment of control in a violent sport. Joe Montana didn't just win, he orchestrated. And when the pressure was greatest, he made football's biggest stage look like his backyard. Tom Brady, salary cap to present. When Tom Brady was drafted 199th overall in 2000, he was a skinny backup with no guarantees. 2 decades later, he stood alone atop the mountain. 7 Super Bowl championships, 3 NFL MVPs, and virtually every major passing record in league history. His story isn't just one of talent, it's one of obsession, precision, and the unyielding belief that preparation beats potential. Taking over for an injured Drew Bledsoe in 2001, Brady led the New England Patriots to their first Super Bowl title that same season. Over the next 2 decades, he built a dynasty. 6 championships in New England under Bill Belichick, and a 7th with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020. His postseason resume defies logic. 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 wins, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, and 35 playoff victories. More than most franchises. Statistically, he rewrote the record books. 89,214 passing yards, 649 touchdowns, 251 regular season wins, and a career that spanned 23 seasons. Yet it was his discipline, the TB12 method, film study, diet, and mental conditioning that defined his edge. Financially, Brady's career mirrored the NFL's explosion in wealth. His rookie deal paid just $231,500 per year, but by the 2010s, he was earning over $25 million annually, often restructuring contracts to help his team stay competitive. His total on-field earnings exceeded $330 million, making him one of the highest-paid athletes in history. Yet his value to the league was immeasurable. Brady wasn't the strongest, fastest, or even the flashiest, but he was relentless. Every throw, every read, every comeback was a masterclass in willpower. He is widely considered the GOAT of all GOATs. From past to present, the torch of greatness never dims. Every era has its legends, men who shaped the game, lifted its spirit, and defined its time. Their stories remind us that in football, greatness isn't given, it's earned, one generation at a time.